Okay, so today I wanted to talk about how to stop drowning monthly. And the first thing I did was I changed my mindset. And what did I do to do that? I started watching videos, I started reading books. Someone that was just everything to me those first 2 years was Lisa Nichols. I think I've read all her books. I watched pretty much all her YouTube channels, videos, and I also signed up for her course online. And so whoever you need to choose that you feel that is just inspirational for you, that's what you need to do. But you need to change your mindset. You need to take some time and understand that it's okay wherever you are financially, and there's a way to get through it, as well as how you look at money. Do you look at money as being a bad thing? Do you look at wealthy people being bad? How do you look at money? And also, I know for me, my mindset at that time was, oh, I can buy now, pay later. It's okay to, I can get whatever I want and I can just pay it back slowly. That is a horrible mindset to me. It just doesn't work out that way. You pay so much more in interest and over time to pay that one item back that it just sinks you further and further, deeper and deeper into debt. And so first I had to change my mindset. I had to understand that, taking my time to get money is okay, that it doesn't make me a bad person to want to be financially stable. Also, getting out of that loophole of it's okay to buy now and pay later. That was just something that I felt like it was okay to do all the time. The second thing is review your spending habits. So look at Netflix, look at your cell phone bill, look at your insurance, look at all the different subscriptions that you have and see what you can start cutting back on. I know for me, I started looking for deals when it came to my insurance company. I got rid of I'm not gonna say the company's name because it's not important, but I got rid of one of my relationships with an insurance company I was with for like 10 years. And I went with a cheaper one. So that was a way for me to like save like maybe $30 to $40 a month. Another thing that I did is I got rid of a lot of like cable TV. I just do streaming only, and that helps me. I'm with Verizon and they give like free Disney and Hulu, and so I use that for my advantage. So it's like a 3-in-1. So any way that you can kind of cut back. Gym memberships, got rid of those. Because even it's like $15 here, $30 there, like any way that you can review your spending habits and cut down. Another big thing is eating out. Buying lunch, those little things, those $10 here, $15 here, it all adds up. I know at the time when I first started my money journey, I worked for a homeschool company, and so I would eat out every day. I would go to a coffee shop, buy a coffee, buy lunch, and that was $20. So $20 a day adds up, especially if you're trying to cut back. So start bringing my lunch, start drinking coffee at home, and not going out and getting coffee. So those were kind of some things that I did to kind of review my spending habits, going over my bank account statement, seeing where I can cut back here and there, and then making a plan to get rid of high interest debt. So high interest debt are your like credit cards. That was my main thing. I had to get out of credit card debt. Like it was like a must. And so just understanding that for me, credit cards at that time did not work. I use it as I said before, a buy now, pay later. Like, oh, I can get this now, and then in a month or 2 or 3 months, I can pay it back off. Well, within that time, that 15%, 20% just adds on and adds on. Those minimal payments is not enough. and then you look and you're like, wow, I spent $1,200, but now I owe $3,000, and then it's just like a snowball effect. So making a plan to get rid of high interest debts for me was at that time was credit cards, or if you do like payday loans or things like that, where your interest rate is like 18-25%. There's really it's really difficult to get that type of return on a positive side, so you're going to constantly be behind. So I think that's one thing to get rid of. If you have credit card debt, get rid of it. Cut up your credit cards. That's what I did. Got rid of my credit cards. I cut them up, and I didn't touch credit cards for like a year or two. I just felt like I didn't understand how to use them well, so I just got away from them. And even now today, I have one credit card, and I'll talk about that later. But if you have a credit card, pay it off monthly so you don't have to pay any interest on it, and you can use it for perks. But if your mindset is not there yet, get rid of it, cut it up, just stay away from them. And then number 4 for me was make more money. At the time as a teacher, I made about $50,000 to $60,000. I live in the state of California. That just wasn't enough. And my financial outlook was I wanted to retire at a certain age. I wanted to make sure I had assets. I wanted to make sure I had a home that I could afford. I wanted to live comfortably for myself and my kids. So I said I needed to make more money. And at the time I was trying to work retail in the morning and then finish up and start my day as a teacher, and it still wasn't enough. I was just like, I can't work for, I think at the time it was like $12 an hour or something like that, doing retail. It wasn't even worth me waking up in the morning to do that before starting my full-time job. And so I said, okay, what's my plan? What's something that I can do that I may enjoy, that makes more money? And so what I did was I put it in my mind that I was going to go back to school, and I went back to school for nursing, and now I make about 3 times the amount that I did before. So for me, I had to make more money, and the reason why was because I was constantly in the negative. Like, there was no way for me to stretch the money that I was making. I didn't have a brand new car. I wasn't buying clothes. I scaled down my shopping. I didn't own a big home. So I was like, where is my money going? And at the end of the day, it was just like, I just wasn't making enough to sustain our life. So I went back and made more money. The last step is separate your money. And what does that mean? Now I have my accounts kind of broken up. So I have my checking account where I get my direct deposit, and I do all my ins and outs in that one checking account. So right when I get my direct deposit, I take my chunk of my money out of that account just in case, because that account is all over whatever. When I'm paying my bills, last thing I need is someone to hack into my account and like take all my money. I don't want that. So I take the money out of my checking, I disperse it down into other accounts. That also allows me to see like, okay, this is how much I'm spending for my bills. And then another thing that you can do is like have savings accounts are okay. Again, if you're using the savings just like for an emergency fund, I think is great. But savings account, you're not really going to build any interest or wealth into a savings account, because I think my savings is like 0.01 or 0.04. It's not really enough to be like, woo. So savings account is mostly for emergencies, but you want to also separate like, okay, this is my emergency fund, this is what I'm going to use for investments, and my checking, this is what I'm going to use for my bills. But if you are constantly, like I said, if you're constantly in the negative, for me, for a long time, I didn't have money for investment. And pretty much all my money was just for bills for a long time. It was just for bills, 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 bills. But still, I wanted to make sure I had a little bit of a nest egg. Let's just say like if my tire blew out, I have a I have a newer car now, but I had a 2008 Toyota Corolla, and it was getting up there in age. As much as it's very reliable, I was like, my tires kept having issues. So I was like, well, I need to at least have some money for like emergencies. So I started with like $25 a month. That's all I saved. And that's all I could save at the time. So just separate your money, have your checking account for your ins and outs, have your savings account if you can save for like emergency fund. And I would just start there. And then as things get better for you financially, then you can add maybe an investment account. You can add other accounts if you feel like, you know, if you want to save for your family or your child or whatever. But just even starting with those two accounts, a checking and a savings. I also recommend, because I worked in a bank before, if you use a debit card, I don't attach my savings account to my debit card, because again, and then I don't do like overdraft protection with my savings, because again, if someone gets to your debit card, they have access to your savings, because it's like overdraft into your savings, as well as I don't want anyone to have access to my savings account. So I keep those two separate when it comes to my debit card. So yeah, that's it. I think that's where you can start. Change your mindset. Like I said, I like Lisa Nichols. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is also a really great book. Dave Ramsey, if you like his videos, he also has a really great book. I just bought one of his books and I want to read it and see if I like it. I also read, what's another one? Oh my gosh. Smart Women Finish First. I think that's the name of the book. That was another really great one. It talks about like how to use your 401k and investments and IRAs, stuff like that, if you're working. Another great one was, what's another one? Badass, what is it? Oh my gosh. How to Be a Badass or something like that. Something with that title. That was also a really good book. Again, I read these books years ago, so I'm trying to like pull them out of my head. So yeah, I think that's where change your mindset, watch some videos. YouTube is excellent. And read some books, you know, feed into yourself, understand that you can do it, you can get out of it. I mean, I know for me at the time, I was just like, I don't know what I went wrong, but I should not be this broke. But I'm still in my journey, in my financial journey. So, and then review your spending habits. I know for me, like lately, is eating out. I'm gonna have to cut back on eating out for me. And I cook a lot at home, but I get tired of my cooking sometimes, so then I want to eat something different. But I know I need to cut back on that too. So maybe we can do that together. And then getting rid of high interest debt. I got rid of all my high interest debt, so I know it's possible to get out of credit card debt. Like I said, once you pay them off, cut them up. Do not keep them around. Don't even say like, oh, I can just, you know, go on vacation for $300. Don't do it. Just cut it up. Get rid of it. You don't need it. You don't need that vacation. I'll talk about some budget vacations, because I budget on a vacation. So I'll get that. I understand that. Make more money if you need to. Get a second job if you need to. I usually always try to keep a second job here and there. Right now I'm in nursing and I get burnt out like for my 32 hours. So right now I'm not working 2 jobs, but usually I work 2 jobs. If not, just try to get 1 job where you're making more money, find ways to make money, whatever you need to do. And then separate your money so you know where your money is going in and out. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. Bye.